Hello, Patriots. How are you doing? Oh, I've had a wild couple of days working, but it's good to be back to making another episode for you. So before I get on to anything, the Unite the Clans rally in Edinburgh that was meant to be held at the Mound on the 21st of March is being moved. It is being moved to Holyrood now. It's still on March the 21st at 12 o'clock, but instead of the Mound, we're at Holyrood now. So if you believe you're a patriot, if you feel that fire and desire to ensure that our people have the right to self-determination in our ancestral homeland, if you don't like the way that our streets are being made to feel less safe, more and more of our people are being victimized by these foreign dangers that are being imported en masse. If you stand against these things, then why not come and stand with us in Edinburgh? March the 21st, plenty of time to get your holidays in. Right, I'm going to go straight in with what's been going on with these hotels. So we'll start in Aberdeen. Aberdeen, Sudanese asylum seeker Zakaria Abdullah, 23, who targeted and sexually assaulted a lone, vulnerable young woman in a park, has been jailed. This was yesterday, by the way. Abdullah was caught on CCTV lurking outside bars at closing time in the city centre before selecting his victim. Abdullah denied the attack but was found guilty by a jury, who deleted part of the charge which said he'd intended to rape the woman. Defence said he was unsure of his client's asylum status, but noted that he had been living in a Home Office accommodation in Glasgow most recently. Sheriff Ian Wallace said he took notice of Abdullah's age and went on, "This offence was planned. You staked out a lone female who had been enjoying herself in the city centre. You sought her out because she was intoxicated. The impact on your victim was significant. She can no longer feel safe in public. Every female has the right to go out in Aberdeen and feel safe." Abdullah was jailed for just 18 months. He had one purpose that night, and that was to find a vulnerable victim. He's only been given 18 months. He will be out in less than a year, probably put in to another HMO or hotel. Get him gone. But yeah, so the news story, man staked out vulnerable female revelers before city centre sexual assault. Why do we keep importing these people? Why do we keep allowing them to come in? Why have we not deployed the Navy into the Channel? Because of rubbish commitments and pieces of legislation like the ECHR and stuff like this. It's just, absolutely grinds me. And then, this is in Nottingham, two men, and this was on the 27th, so what's that, 2 days ago. Two men arrested after police uncover room being used for exploiting children at Nottingham HMO. And the post about this said, Nottinghamshire police launched an investigation after part of a house of multiple occupation HMO in Woodborough Road, St Anne's, was reported to be rented for sexual purposes. The force said a number of these victims were identified as children, and they are still trying to determine the full scale of the activity. Two men, aged 52 and 33, have been arrested on suspicion of a number of offences. These include facilitating the sexual exploitation of a child aged 13 to 17. Forensics were at the scene for almost a week. And it's still not over. Where is my... So Homeland we're in Warwick, because back at Warwick Crown Court today to follow that sickening case of 2 Afghani illegals who horrifically raped a 12-year-old English girl in Nuneaton last summer. The pictures there for you to see. Message was clear then and clear now. Remigration now. No to migrant HMOs housing illegal migrants who are menacing our children. Pressure needed on councillors, MPs, Home Office and Serco to safeguard our community and children better by removing migrant HMOs, hotels and illegal invaders that reside in them. Just everywhere, up and down our island, doesn't matter if it's in England, if it's in Scotland, Wales, doesn't matter. They're doing this in every hotel. In Europe as well, they're doing the exact same thing. The migrants, like, we think that they're going to come here, live like us. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Has history taught us nothing? And then, this yesterday, oh, we got tagged in this on Facebook yesterday, and I'd actually already seen it, and I was just like when those moments hit you where you want to be shocked, but you're really not shocked, like this. This is in Birmingham. Like, that should surprise you even less. The only place that this would surprise me less probably is somewhere like Bradford or Keighley. Do you know what I mean? Convicted terrorists standing in Birmingham election to unite Sparkhill. Former jihadist Shahid Butt says his controversial past and life experiences would make him an ideal counsellor. So a terrorist is going to make an ideal counsellor in Birmingham. There is no extra prizes for being able to predict the future here if he gets in. Or gets in, unites the Muslim population, and then we have problems. It's like, it blows my mind. Do you know what I mean? And what I should have showed you straight after those three hotel incidents, the brutal incidents. But yeah, this video here, is it any wonder that all this, we keep hearing these stories, and it's pretty much daily, right? It's pretty much daily. We hear of some foreign beast, especially with these hotels, some foreigner that's staying in these hotels, victimizing another vulnerable female. Like, age means absolutely nothing to these people. But you're probably wondering, how do they keep getting them into these hotels? Surely there's security at these hotels, because you see them whenever the auditors try and go in. Or when I was going to the hotels around Aberdeen with John Carr, it was always, the security would always come out and stop us getting too close to the front door and that. But this is why it keeps happening.
On a licensed premises, all security must display their SIA card. So can I see it?
Put it on display.
Put it on display.
We want to see your card on display.
So to check it.
Because you're supposed to display it.
It's the law.
It's the law to display it.
Just gonna pause that there a second. Like, they're both clearly foreigners. Like, they don't even know the law. They are supposed to show their identification so that people know that they are who they're saying they are. Because we've got enough. I don't know if any of you have seen this, by the way, that there's like over 50, might be over 60,000 of these illegals have gone missing in Britain. They've absconded. The government does not know where they are, and nobody's caring. Like, every so often I've seen it pop up on stuff like GB News and that, but it's not me. This should be plastered all over the mainstream media so that our people know to be vigilant, know to be safe, know to not go out on their own if they're vulnerable. Well, let's carry this on.
SIA. It's the law. Put your SIA on display.
Can I see it?
Can I see a copy of your SIA? You've got it back to front.
Pause that again. He's like, I've got it on display. It's back to front.
You've got it back to front. Can I see that SIA badge, please? So you're refusing to display. So I can report you to the SIA. Thank you. And have your badge removed?
Yes, can you go here, speak with local authority, your local authority come talk to me.
Like, when you have third worlders acting as security for third worlders, that whole area is pretty much third world territory now. What goes on in there goes on in the third world. You want to know what goes on in the third world? Let's look at Libya. Gaddafi gets taken out by the Americans, and now they're back to open air slave trade. It just, like, people make out that we are so evil because we want to preserve our people in our ancestral homeland. We want to preserve our culture. We want our people to thrive. We don't want our people having to come second to foreigners or foreign influence in our homeland. Is that such an extreme thing, to want our people to feel safe and want our people to have that human right to self-determination? And then when you've got somebody like the SNP running Scotland, is it any wonder that our people are getting put second? I mean, like, the Scottish Daily Express put this story out the other day, and I have been hammering the SNP since I saw this. Anytime I see them putting up their posts, oh, Scottish children are getting the best chance education, blah blah blah. Well, SNP shamed as two of Scotland's most prestigious universities have more foreign students than Scots. Right, and we're going to go through this whole article, right? The SNP has been shamed after new figures show that the number of Scots students going to university plummeted to a 5-year low, and two of the country's most prestigious establishments have got more foreign students enrolled than those domiciled in Scotland. I'm trying so hard not to, like, divert off this. I will get through this article and then I'll start going. Nationalist activists and Scottish government ministers love to brag about free tuition fees for Scots school leavers to attend university. But this is coming under threat due to a higher educational establishment's warning of a financial black hole in the next few years as they struggle to afford this. They are relying more on fee-paying international students than ever before. And the government announced 2 years ago that it was cutting funding for this by 28.5 million. And this has had a negative impact on how many Scots are being let into universities. Figures have plummeted from 180,170 in 2020-2021 to 169,130 in 2024-2025, a decrease of about 6% and 10,040. Despite this drop, the SNP executive published a glowing press release boasting about the Higher Education Statistics Agency, HESA, figures because it showed that 17.4% of entrants came from the 20% most deprived areas, up to 16.7% the previous year, a rise of just 815. First thing, they're calling them Scottish nationalists. Well, they're not calling them Scottish nationalists. They're calling them nationalists. And the SNP, any SNP supporter, if you're voting for the SNP, you are not a nationalist. You're a commie. And so this is it. I had somebody the other day, I'm not even going to name him because I'm not going to give him the time of day. He's just an absolute donut. But he's saying that Scottish universities wouldn't be able to run if we didn't let in these foreigners. So now less Scottish students are getting an opportunity to go to Scottish universities, because to keep these universities open, we need and allow our people to go to university for free, we need to subsidize that by bringing in a bajillion foreigners. Like, when will people realize that if an institution needs foreigners to survive, then we should not be keeping that that institution alive. We should just let it burn, because it's a detriment to our people, and the government will always use it as a tool to make the masses believe that immigration is this great thing, because like the SNP likes to say, migration is welcome. Who welcomes migration? Those who welcome replacement. And then, is it any wonder that like with the SNP in power and the SNP running Aberdeen now, that Aberdeen's facing a coal mining style collapse? Ever since the big oil downturn and oil crash between 2014 and 2016, Aberdeen has never been the same. The SNP just left us out to dry. The SNP has always had a bee in its bonnet about Aberdeen, because Aberdeen has always been a very conservative city. And then the SNP just did nothing. They left us out to dry. And what they've done with all these businesses, like the Patio Hotel down the beach, filled with asylum seekers, do you know? But just look at the beach. The beach is so run down. It is not what it used to be. And now you've got mums who are terrified to take their kids to Cadonas, because when they do, you've got these migrants coming in with their phones and recording their kids. And when these mums raise it to the members of staff, the members of staff are having to be like, look, we know we've been trying, but the police are saying it's not illegal for them to record in a public area. Do you know? But yeah, Aberdeen, like I showed you the other day, the numbers from Crowborough. What will it take to get you out on to get the masses out? Like, when will our people, when will our city, when will our homeland mean enough to you to put your head above the parapet? When will it mean enough to you to take that risk and realize that there's something more important than just hiding away in your home, feeling safe? Our people are at risk, and so many people do not care. Before I go on to my final couple of things about the SNP, like this is a throwback to 2019, right? Foreign doctors are revealed to be behind 60% of all sex assaults on patients, but NHS wants fewer of them taken to disciplinary hearings. So even though 60% of all sexual assaults in 2019 were committed by foreigners, the NHS didn't want to take them to disciplinary hearings. And I guess it's because, they didn't want to be called racist. Do you know? But so that's 2019. And then this was yesterday. More than 12,000 reports of sexual assaults in NHS hospitals since 2020. LBC investigation finds a worrying rise in reports of sexual assaults in NHS hospitals has emerged between 2020 and 2025. Now, what has also happened since 2020 and between 2020 and 2025, we've had the Boris wave. We've had mass immigration because supposedly the NHS needs foreigners. No, it doesn't. If we import the third world, we become the third world. If we let the third world into our NHS, look at what's happening to it. It's wild. I also saw something else that I probably should have put on today's video, but I'll put it on my next one. And it was saying that the UK, the NHS, so the UK's health service, has like some of the worst death rates, people dying in the hospital, than most of the places in Europe. It's wild. In fact, I'll have it pop up the story because I'll find it before I post this. It's just wild. So this is not a new thing. This has been going on for years, and the government, the establishment, all these institutions like social workers, the exact same people, like police and all these people that covered up the grooming gangs are the same people that don't want you knowing just how toxic the NHS has become with all these foreigners. We do not need foreigners to help the NHS run. The NHS, we have our own people. We are some of the greatest people on this planet. Do you know? Have a little faith in us. Not just the Scottish people, the British people. Have faith in us. Like I've said before, we used to be independent nations, like, that were just clans fighting against each other, like up here in Scotland. Do you know? But see, when we came together and united, we conquered over a quarter of the world, you know? But back to the SNP. So there was, I don't know if you'll have seen, but last year there was an article out that Scotland has had a drop in deaths, a drop in drug deaths. Yeah, they had a drop in deaths. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. They had a drop in deaths for men ages mid-20s to late 30s, I think it is. But we still have the worst death rates for that age bracket in Europe. Do you know? And is it any wonder, and this is another story from Scottish Express, Scotland's drug death epidemic is spiralling out of control under the SNP's state-sponsored drug-taking regime. Now, I don't know if you can remember, a few days ago, I showed you a video, and I mentioned in it that Niall Fraser was the one that got the video to go viral again. But he's the guy that has been reporting on these drug rooms and showing you the state of what goes on outside. There's needles, crack pipes, so much drug paraphernalia everywhere. Dangers to little kids and that. And the SNP don't care. This is like we should be helping our people. Drug rooms are not helping our people. That is allowing our people to keep pumping poison into their bodies. We need to get our people healthy. We need to get our people active. This is not the way. Drug rooms are not the way. And once again, that's going to be an expenditure on the Scottish people, the British people, the taxpayers. So I try and always have this smile on my face. But when I see all these things, like, because obviously I go and research these things to find out what's going on up and down our island every day. And so when I'm seeing these things, I feel it because I don't want our people suffering. And when our government just keeps welcoming it and trying to tar us as the evil ones, because like I said, this is no longer left versus right. This is good versus evil. And I'm showing you the evil side of our establishment. But yet, us real nationalists, us patriots that are trying to bring an end to this, they'd happily hang us by a bridge, do you know? And women of Scotland, I am going to give you the perfect reason never to vote SNP again, right? This is our First Minister, John Swinney, just proving that he has absolutely no respect for women at all.
I want to ask you a very straightforward question. Supreme Court was as clear as daylight last year that sex means biological sex. Why are you still putting people with penises in women's prisons?
Well, there's obviously some complex legal issues.
Stopping there already. People with penises, men.
That have got to be worked through as a consequence of
the
Supreme Court judgment indicated that there is a necessity for us to take account of the rights of transgender individuals, and that's the issue that has to be considered as part of the court.
It was as clear as daylight. You cannot put a person with a penis in a woman's prison.
But when you look at the Supreme Court judgment, what they said was that nothing that we do, and we as a government have to always obey the law, can in any way undermine the rights that are assured to individuals who are transgender individuals, and we have to respect that.
Are you sure you're not just dragging your feet here because because the SNP was on the wrong side of the legal judgment here?
No, because in various other areas we have changed the regulations that are in place and the guidance that are in place, so we've done that.
So, John Swinney cares more about the rights of mentally ill men than he does of the vulnerable women that are in prison. Fair enough, they're prisoners, but at the end of the day, why should female prisoners be forced to be put at more risk from this mentally ill man, because it's not even like it's never happened. There's literally been these male prisoners raping females in the prison, do you know? But John Swinney, like, they have picked their side, so why should you not pick yours? The SNP will be the end of Scotland. The SNP wants to get rid of what we are as a people. They want an independence from Britain, but they want to rejoin the EU. I mean, just look at France. Look at the state of France and Germany at the moment, especially France. These are like hubs of the EU, like where they exude EU politics, and they're just an absolute hellhole at the moment, because import the third world, become the third world. This was all, oh yeah, I could go off on a tangent here, but I'm going to try and keep it positive. John Swinney is an absolute menace to our people. If you think voting for the SNP is the way to go, then you're either one of two things: brainwashed or a foreigner. Do you know, this is why, until we've got remigration, there's absolutely no reason to be talking about independence, because we've got foreigners in positions of power, and we've got people like John Swinney running our country, putting our most vulnerable at risk. And it just blows my marbles. We are not an economic zone. We are a nation. We are a people. We should always come first. And like I said, see, if an institution needs foreigners to survive, and it means that less and less Scottish people are going to be able to use that institution in Scotland, then that institution needs to be left to die. That is the only way. That is the only way. And you can be like, oh, read a study economics, or read a book or something like that. But we are not an economic zone. If our people are not thriving, I could not care. And that's why when people say, oh, remigration would crash the economy, cool. If remigration is going to crash the economy and can give us a clean slate for us to start rebuilding and making our homeland beautiful again, do you know? Like, I love Scotland. Everybody knows that. I love Scotland. I love our island. I love Britain. I love my English brothers and sisters as well. Do you know? I see no difference in our fight up here than their fight down there, because, like I showed you what's happening in Aberdeen hotels, or what's happening with the asylum seekers in Aberdeen, is happening with the asylum seekers up and down England. It's no different. It's absolutely no different. And I'm going to finish with this. The Raise the Colours boys have been going on about how legal immigration is so fine. So I'm going to reiterate what I said the other day. In Labour's first year, over 900,000 foreigners came into our nation, came into our homeland, came into Britain. Only 60,000 of them were illegal. So that means that over 840,000 foreigners came into our nation legally. The only difference between legal and illegal is a bit of paper. And what does that bit of paper give you? Fast track to replacement. So that's why we must be brave, we must be courageous, and we must rise up as a nation. We must come together as patriots, because it's the only way our people can not only survive, but thrive. We can do this. We can get remigration, because it's the only way to keep our people safe. So go out and do this. And on Sunday, February the 1st, we'll be in Westhill protesting. So come and join us. Thank you.